Now, we have Craig Hill live on the line. Good afternoon, Craig.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me all right?
Craig, yes, everything is okay, yeah. We've been full of gremlins this afternoon in the studio, but I'm chasing them at the studio as we speak. So,
Oh, yeah, you don't want that. No, not so near to Dunfermline. You don't want that. No one does a get coming up. Get rid of the gremlins.
Right.
I love the idea of the Carnegie Hall. I mean,
Yeah.
partly because, as soon as you tell somebody Craigie's at the Carnegie, everyone thinks you're in New York. And I just love the idea that, I love the idea that Andrew Carnegie has actually gone to Dunfermline and New York and named both of them the same thing. And I've had some great gigs at Dunfermline, mainly because the audience turned up knowing what they're coming to see. So I've had some brilliant characters, like there was one time in Dunfermline, I remember this woman showed up and she looked like she had money.
Yeah.
But, she had an expensive bag on, expensive shoes, expensive top, her hair was blow-dried beautifully, and she had this jazzy bag that was hysterical. It was Christian Dior, and it was all spangly. So I said, look at that bag. I can't believe how camp that bag is. Showed the audience the bag, and then they said, go through the bag. And I went through the bag, and she had the most rubbish wee Nokia phone from 10 years ago with a smashed screen. And I went, there's where your budget ended. And then I said to her, should we phone? And I looked on her phone, and it said hubby 1 and hubby 2.
Oh.
And I thought, oh Christ, which one should we phone? So
You phoned one of them. Right, okay.
we were going to phone, and then I decided not to. And we phoned. It was really funny. There was one of the names said Anne Fay next door, and I thought, you can't even mind her name. She lives next door. Go and look at her letterbox. So we actually phoned Anne Fay next door live on stage in Dunfermline, and Anne said, I said, why don't you come along to the show? It'll be such a laugh. It'll be like surprise, just turn up at the last minute. And then she said, oh no, I can't. I'm having a party. And then eventually I said to her, what are you celebrating? What's your party? And then she went, I'm not having a party, I just didn't have the nerve to turn up. And things like that happen on stage make the show completely one-off, and that happens quite a lot when I'm on tour. So I get quite excited because I genuinely don't know what's going to happen, and Dunfermline does seem to come up with some brilliant characters.
Right, so you don't plan your repertoire, it just happens.
Well, I do see. Well, the thing is, I'm on for nearly 2 hours, so it's quite a long show. It's nearly 45 minutes, then an hour.
Yeah.
More or less, 40 or something.
Right.
And so the second half is really your show from the festival, but the first half I kind of use that as a way to get to know the audience, so that we all relax, and and it's quite good. It makes you kind of fly with the seat of your pants and keep your or the seat of your kilt.
Aye, so it's Craigie at the Carnegie, and
it's not actually called that. I'm calling it that for a laugh.
Aye, but let's call it Craigie at the Carnegie.
Okay.
It's certainly stuck in my mind. But Craigie and the Carnegie, and it's answered our first question. And I was going to ask you if you're a Carnegie Hall virgin, and
no, I'm not. My goodness, I've been going there for years.
For years, yeah.
Yeah, for quite a few years. I think this might be my 4th or 5th year at the Carnegie Hall.
Right.
And they get good sign, I have to say. Your signs are massive. You need to be an idiot not to see that sign. It's absolutely massive on that hill. I mean, that's just great. You see some theatres with a poster, but that Carnegie Hall, having that particular little hill with that massive sign, that's great while the bus is passing by. So people know you're in town, which is great.
Yep, and it's quite a grand theatre, isn't it? So we love it. We love it.
Oh, I love it. I'm very fond of it. I have it, and it's quite a nice old theatre as well.
Yeah.
And it looks like quite a comfortable place for the audience to sit. And I usually meet people as they leave as well and say a wee hello to them, which is quite nice because then you get to see who the audience are. But it's quite good fun. So the show's always in 2 halves, and the first half is just me kind of mess with the audience and get to know them, and then your stories kind of in the second half. But yeah, it's exciting. And then the Edinburgh Festival, you're doing like an hour-long show, whereas you have everything packed in an hour. When you're touring, you can really take your time and not rush the thing, which is great.
Aye. So Jenny from Carnegie has got a question for you, and she says she's asking me, do you get your kilts specially made? Are they
Not really. I mean, the one I've actually got recently, I did actually have specially made for me. But normally there's a company called 21st Century Kilts where I get all my kilts. And they make very unusual kilts. So if there's one in my size, that's the one I'll get. So some of them were made for me, but most of them they've had them and I've just bought them. But the one I had recently, I did actually have made for me because it's a blue kilt. I absolutely love it. It's an amazing colour. And it had the one that I tried on for my poster, had a Superman logo on it. And I didn't quite want that across my crotch.
Oh, right,
So I decided to have one made without the Superman logo.
Without the Superman logo.
Yeah.
I quite like her. So, Gail Thompson wants to know what you do after a show. I mean, how do
I'm
you...
loving all these questions. No one's ever done this to me before. I quite like this.
Well, I've had quite a few questions on the phone and
Quite
the
fun.
text line. I was quite surprised to get them all phoning me, but there you go.
That's great.
Yeah, Gail Thompson, she's from Dulwich Park here in Dunfermline, and she wants to know where you get your material. Now, I think she's talking about not the material for the kilt, of course, but,
Of course.
but the material. Yeah, I mean,
just from everyday life. I think a comedian normally is the kind of person you don't have to kind of look for the comedy in life. I think you seem to be the kind of people who do comedy are the kind of people who look at life in that way anyway. So in other words, you're always kind of. I think if I wasn't a comedian, I'd be the kind of person who would actually still be laughing at the things people do in life and things you do yourself. So just from everyday life, I keep a wee note of everything on my iPhone that makes me laugh, and then I sit down and work on those notes and go, I'm going to do something with this. This sounds quite fun.
Right.
And so I just saw someone coming to the door there and thought, I wonder if that's a wee delivery. Anyway, so I quite like the idea of just kind of going through life and making sure you keep a wee note of stuff and then working on those things and think there's something quite funny there. And usually you should just follow your instincts. If something occurs to you that's quite funny, then it usually is quite funny. It should be, you just have to work on it and kind of turn it into a script.
Aye.
But yeah, after my shows, you're normally quite hyper. The weirdest thing is if you have to rush after a show and get on a train. I had to do that in Dundee one time.
Right.
And it was just very strange to be on a train by yourself after having done a gig with so many people. It is nice to have a wee glass of wine and have the time to mingle with people.
Yes,
but you don't always have the time to do that. So.
Right, okay.
So. The guy's running away with my package. Anyway, go on.
Oh, is someone at the door?
I thought it was, but there's no. He's run away now, so it can't be for me.
Oh, you don't want to get one of those horrible cards for your door from
Well,
the
I just
postman.
think I'm going to get that now, don't I? Do you know when somebody doesn't even ring the door?
The price of stardom, eh? The price of being
the price of deliveries.
The price
anyway,
of
there
deliveries.
you are. I think he's gone to the wrong door. So,
He's gone to the wrong door.
so always hyper after shows. Usually have to have a wee glass of wine and hang out for a wee bit after shows. But the truth is, you're much more exhausted than you think you are, and an hour later you're shattered.
You're zonked, absolutely zonked. So you're known for impersonating Cleo Lane.
Well, do you know, I only did that. I wish I'd never said that now. I only did that when I was about 10 years old in a wee silly competition, and I would, I've never done. I don't do Cleo Lane. I've never done it in my show before.
Right. Okay.
I don't know that. It's more that I used to start off. I used to sing, Shirley Bassey doing the Smiths and Julie Andrews doing punk songs. So when I first did comedy, I just sang to get me onto the stage. And now I sing a little bit. Like there's an Adele cover in this show where I take the mickey out of that song. Never mind, I'll find someone better than you. That one that she sang, because I sang the way that I think people actually would like to hear that song.
And David Gray, this is the last question, you'll be pleased to say. David Gray, he wants to know if you've got any other hobbies apart from comedy and appearing in theatre and stuff. I mean, what hobbies do you have?
Cycling.
Cycling?
I
Right,
absolutely love cycling.
So that's how you keep in shape?
Well, I do go to the gym with my pal. I'm not really a gymmy person, but I do go sometimes. But I love cycling. I've just been to Berlin on holiday for 2 weeks.
All right.
And I absolutely loved it because it's really set up well for cycling. It's really flat. And wherever you go, if you hire a bike, and I hire a bike in almost every place I go to, you can see so much of the city in a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
I absolutely love cycling. Do you know, if the weather's okay, I don't like doing it in the rain, but that's my wee hobby, actually. That's quite a fun thing to do, and I do that. I've actually made comedians when I'm in, Nottingham or Birmingham or wherever I am. I've actually made them hire a bike with me and gone off along the canals, and they've all loved it. So just because when you do comedy, you're kind of away in cities, and sometimes just stuck in the middle of a shopping centre Saturday afternoon, that's a bit boring. So you end up I love escaping the city a wee bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, Craig Hill, I hope you've not got a card through your door saying that you have to go and collect some sort of parcel from the post, I was saying.
Who knows what's happening? It's been twice and I've got nothing.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you on Radio West 5. Every success and best wishes for the show tomorrow at the Carnegie. That's Craigie at the Carnegie.
Craigie at the Carnegie. How much fun.
Okay.
Cheers.
Right, cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Radio